When you walk into a store, you can see somebody with a disability either bagging groceries, stocking the shelves, bringing carts in from outside, just doing little jobs. But you'll notice the people doing these little jobs sometimes are people with disabilities. People with disabilities are able to work because of the ADA, or the Americans with Disability Act. Autism is one of the disabilities that are covered under the ADA. It is a development disability with the brain. There's 3 different levels or classifications, and each one of these levels or classifications has different qualities or characteristics that make the person with disabilities, puts them into the class. Okay, before we can get into the class and everything, we need to start back when what happened with the ADA and why it was signed into law. Before the 1990s, people with disabilities weren't able to work. They weren't able to have freedoms that we all see, that we have today, and that we see them with today. On July 26, 1990, President George H.W. Bush signed the ADA into law. This gives people with disabilities the freedoms that we all see today, the freedoms that they can live their daily lives, live by themselves, can work, can drive, can go to school. All the freedoms that we see that's just common today, they had to pass that into law for everyone to be able to do these things. The families of the loved ones with disabilities, they were really trying to get some sort of help before the ADA was signed into law. They would go and challenge the social barriers of society, going where they shouldn't be going out to eat where they said they're not supposed to. There wasn't just a single person that was going out challenging the barriers. It was thousands of people, thousands of families working together, trying to get their loved ones and their kids the freedoms that they deserve. They would be doing this by attending protests. They would be doing this by attending protests, sending out letters, testifying, doing public speeches, lobbying. Some of the participants of this even got arrested just because they were trying to fight for what they believe in and trying to get their loved ones what they deserve. The ADA didn't just change. The ADA changed the opportunities and the way of life for people with disabilities. Before 1970, there was over 1 million kids who were excluded from even attending school. They couldn't even get into the school system because of their disability. This changed in 1974 when the Disability Education Act was signed. This showed that disability children were able to, or people with disabilities were able to go to school and receive the education. Some of these kids didn't get the proper help and they aged out at the age of 21. This happened to a young lady in Chicago. Her name is Joy Johnson. She was nonverbal until the age of 12. With this, she also had autism. Since she was nonverbal, her teachers and peers thought she wasn't intelligent. Her teachers would just give her assignments and not offer her any help. So she just sat there. She couldn't get any help because the teachers didn't offer it to her. She ended up aging out at age of 21. The ADA guarantees equal opportunity and the rights for people with disabilities. One of the guarantees is they cannot be discriminated against within the workplace. They can't be discriminated against in public accommodations, jobs, transportation. I'm sorry, my thing keeps messing up. Transportations and telecommunications. If somebody with disabilities feels like they are being discriminated against, they are able to sue or make a lawsuit for that company, the job, whatever, just because it goes against the rules, guidelines, and regulations of the ADA. Autism is separated into 3 levels or classifications like I talked about earlier. The first level of autism is level 1, which is the mildest form of autism. The person with level 1 autism, they are able to speak in full sentences. It just may sound a little weird to people without disabilities. They are said to be inflexible about switching from one activity to another. They like to have very structured and very scheduled. Level 2 is a moderate form. These people need a little more help to their day-to-day lives. They could either get help from their parents. Their parents could hire a caregiver, or they could go to a disabled helping facility like LifeScape. LifeScape is for children under the age of 18, or they can go to LifeQuest, which is for people over the age of 18, and they will just receive the support and the help that they need, support with eating, bathing, showering, just doing day-to-day activities. They speak, but they say short sentences. Level 3 is the most severe. Most of the time, these people in this level are nonverbal. They need help with pretty much every aspect of their life. Now that I've finished talking about the different levels, let's talk about the different characteristics for the individual with disabilities to get put into these levels. Okay, so autism affects 1 out of 54 children in the United States. Most of the time, the children are diagnosed under the age of 2. 31% of the individuals with autism have an intellectual disability. This means that their IQ is less than 70. There's nothing that you can medically analyze to decide if this person or diagnose somebody with autism. There's no diagnosis, there's no cure. The only thing that you're able to see if the person has autism is through some of their signs and characteristics. Some of the signs and characteristics are the person avoids eye contact. They will not make direct eye contact, doesn't show facial expressions, and they do not respond to their name by the age of 9 months. These are just some of the many, many signs of autism. There's also some challenges with autism, like with any disability. So one of the challenges is 40% of people diagnosed with autism are nonverbal. They either run or bolt from safety. This is one of the leading causes of death for children under the age of 4. They will run from safety, and 90% of them will drown. This is all the stats and stuff on autism. Just know if you see somebody that is being a little slower, you don't know what's going on, because not all disabilities are physical, some are mental disabilities, and that's like what autism is a mental disability. You don't know what the person is going through, what their family has went through, or anything. So just please remember, just be nice and just try and do your best. If somebody needs help, help them out.